toasting, joking too. Sipping and roasting is what we do. Light 'em up, drink 'em down. Whiskey and cigars all around. Cheers, y'all.
That sounds like a party about to begin, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this fine radio program, podcast, and video extravaganza known internationally as the world-famous Smoking and Toasting. And as we like to say at the beginning of the show these days, what's up, New Orleans? Because we're on the air in New Orleans now, which is very exciting.
Playing on 9:30, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. So, welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. My name is Cruz. My co-host is Ian Barry, and one of our favorite guests is back with us today, Mr. Andrew Doxakis. And you have brought along a guest as well.
Did you just call me Andrew Doxakis?
Did I? Instead of I know it's. Where did Andrew come from?
I had the pop ready to go. I was going to do finally Dox is back, and then you gave. Okay,
yeah,
it's Greg.
Sorry, it's Greg.
It's cool.
Gregory Doxakis.
Thanks for having me on, Chris.
Yeah.
So yes, the spiky
Hang
Fots.
on, I have to drop the F-bomb.
The Spiky Fots is back on Smoking and Toasting. You know why they call me the
Dox is
Spiky
here.
Fots?
No, I did not.
Because I'm a friend of the show, and when I'm on, the ratings spike.
Oh,
the Spiky Fots.
Sweet, watch
Spiky
out.
Foss, yes. Introduce your buddy and
I
co-guest.
did bring a buddy. He is a buddy of mine. This is Trey Melcher. He is the proprietor over at down the road of the Rail Yard.
So,
Well, you know.
yeah, I should mention, by the way, that we were
He and his wife
initially...
Stephanie, I should just mention, she's going to hear that and get mad if she doesn't hear her name also. So there
We were initially planning to do the show at the Rail Yard. We were going to be outside, and it's a little bit rainy today, the day that we're recording, so we decided to come in the studio. But it has now affected our show title. Our name for the show for this week was originally going to be called Drinking with Dox at the Rail Yard. And now we're not at the Rail Yard, so it's just Drinking with Dox. Yeah, so, and we'll be doing a lot of that today because between the two of you guys, you brought a number of spirits.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to get Trey on because I know you all guys are a big fan of single cask bourbons.
Yep.
And I'm going to say he's probably has one of the best palates in town, or at least he's the best at picking out single casks because their collection over at the Rail Yard is second to none.
That's fantastic. Now, Ian and I both remember what was there before it was the Rail Yard. The Roland.
He does not care for that word.
That was like a Houston, icon
institution.
place.
Yeah, I was there for a lot of years.
Large TV was on the neon.
large TV.
And that meant it was like a 19-inch. Yeah, back in that day, that was a large TV.
Free air conditioning when it works.
Yeah, right, yes. But it's been substantially upgraded, and the
it's way
the
prettier
places,
inside.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
and a much better selection of spirits as well.
Absolutely.
So and it's right around the corner from our office, so it's really easy for us to have like meetings and stuff over there, which is important. It's important to have a place to have meetings, like a meeting room, as it were. So we'll do it. We'll do a meeting there since we didn't get to do it today. But we did bring all the liquor over here, so that's going to be good. I brought beers too. We're going to be tasting from right here in Houston, Texas, and one of the newer breweries, Bad Astronaut Brewing Company.
Bad Astronaut's good. That's a cool place too.
We'll be tasting their German-style Pilsner called Cloud Punch, which I'm betting you've had before, Ian.
I don't know if I've had that one actually.
So we'll be trying that from Phase 3 Brewing in Lake Zurich, Illinois. Their hazy double IPA called DDH Broken Orbs. Or I'm sorry, Bokeh Orbs. Looks like broken, but it actually isn't. From the New Image Brewing and Alesong Brewing, a collaboration called #Life Unplugged. I don't think you're going to like this one, Ian. It is a barrel-aged barley wine.
Oh, that just sounds terrible.
Yeah, I know it's not your thing.
You had me at barley wine.
I know it's not your thing. Plus, both of these guys brought spirits, and we're really excited to get started tasting those. We have a mystery beverage, which we'll get to in a moment. But first of all, our most popular segment on the program, Drinking News, will be coming up later on. And our Drinking News teaser headline sounds different today. You have a guitar instead of a ukulele.
I have a guitar instead of a ukulele.
Yeah, pretty cool. Our Drinking News teaser headline, if you're going to have a cookie, have a cookie. Which that's like the Pepperidge Farm slogan, I think.
Just go ahead and have a cookie.
Yeah, I think so. So I think it is, for
The
real.
ukulele is a little easier to hold up here at the desk.
Yeah, I noticed you might have been struggling with that a little bit. So lots of cool things to talk about, but we have so much to do on the show today. I want to go ahead and get started with today's mystery beverage. So if you could pass that around. Terry, there's one for you.
Thank you.
So the mystery beverage is something that we've been doing quite often lately, where we bring a beverage out without telling you what it is. One of us will bring it in. So
I'm just looking at this. I'm going to say it's a cider just by sight.
You're guessing cider.
I'm guessing
Okay. So the idea is we taste it, we figure out if we like it, and then we discover what it is.
Smelling cider. I think.
So initial pass on the nose. What do you
Maybe
think?
grapefruit?
Does have a little grapefruit on the nose for sure.
I'm waiting for you to taste it first before I put this in my mouth.
Oh, well, you've been on the show how many times now, and you still don't trust me?
Docs, it's really good.
Was he part of the Malort incident or something?
Yes, the Malort incident. There are books being written about the Malort incident. I think it's actually pretty good. It's very, very grapefruity.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. It gives you that, that citrus makes your mouth pucker.
No, Ian? You're saying absolutely not.
No, there's a weird
is a weird aftertaste.
flavor going on, and it's
Does
do
it
you
have
think?
like a aspartame type?
yeah.
So many of like the ciders and stuff have
Sweetener.
that. I'm sorry, not ciders. The sparkling waters.
Is that what this is?
Seltzers. It is not a sparkling water.
The nose seems sour. Would you get a sour at all? Or like
That's what I
not
thought
yeast,
it was
but
grape
like
cider.
Yeah.
I mean, not only did it look like a cider, it kind of smelled a bit like a cider. But you're right about the grapefruit. Obviously, it's grapefruit. But
What are the sour beers called? There's a word for
Like
them.
a Goza?
Yeah, Goza. Is it a Goza?
It is not a Goza, although that's a good guess because it does
I
have
usually like Gozas.
some of that characteristic. What we're trying
Not a big
today
fan of this.
is called Juneshine. It is a hard kombucha, whichever way you say that. So it's grapefruit, lime, green tea, and June kombucha. Is what it says.
Isn't it good for gut health?
I get the
Kombucha?
lime in there now,
Splash.
too.
I'm not sure. Well,
Kombucha.
is it a type of tea? Kombucha isn't that a type of tea?
No,
It's
a
a fermented.
plant,
It's a fermented beverage.
Well, I realize
What is
that.
it?
but-
So it's interesting you said
Fermented beverage. It's
lime
alcohol.
because
Yeah,
I
you
was
have to
getting a
ferment it.
salt, but not
But
until
not
the
a-
third or
Kombucha
fourth sip.
itself
And so I
is
guess maybe
fermented
that's the lime.
Yeah, I think you're right. I
Additive.
think you're right.
Yeah.
I know Adam likes these. I don't know if he likes this one
This-
in particular, but
Well, I mean, this no.
Oh, it says green,
No?
green
So-
tea as
no,
well.
so
Hard no on this.
You're as emphatic about your no on this as I was about the Manhattan automatic thing.
Automatic Manhattaner?
The automatic, that was
The what?
You
It was
automatic Manhattaner.
He brought this bottle. It was a bottle of what was the whiskey?
Glenlivet.
It was Glenlivet whiskey. But when you open it was like a small bottle, right? And when you open it, you turn the cap, it dispenses these other liquids into
We'll
it
call them flavonoids.
and makes it a Manhattan.
Cruz was mostly disappointed that the Glenlivet's in it was destroyed.
Was now ruined. In
He
fact,
was-
so the next week for a mystery beverage, I brought just a small bottle of Glenlivet to show this is how it's supposed to be done, right?
So it's basically the Camel Crush of Scotch whiskeys.
Basically that. Basically that. Yes. I'm okay with this. I'm not crazy about it, but it's
okay,
drinkable.
but yeah.
I don't hate it.
Adam, you'll have to chime in when you come on the
if
show.
this is all you had in your cooler, I would be drinking water.
Oh, that much.
Like hard
wow.
notes.
Wow.
Ouch.
That's a
I
Fascinating.
strong
still
opinion.
can't get the taste out of my mouth.
Well, maybe then we should start with.
We'll try and cut it with Shiner.
Maybe we should start with one of these other spirits then, so that we can get this taste out of Ian's mouth because he's not
It
a
makes
happy
the
camper.
Shiner taste bad.
It makes
Oh
the
man!
Shiner
And I
taste
got
How
to
do you
tell you,
make Shiner taste bad?
Shiner
Come
is
on,
it's
people.
a pretty difficult to make Shiner taste bad. It is one of the most like durable beers there is. You know.
I just have to think this was engineered to be this way. I don't understand that whole process.
I keep forgetting. I need to do this. I think I've talked about this
Did
before.
you even taste yours?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see him taste it.
I didn't see him taste it either.
Here we go.
You know, there's a person on the internet that tastes food, and that's what they complain about. Is every time she takes a bite, she really doesn't take a bite, so they're not sure that she really
They're
knows.
not sure
Is
she's
that
really
real?
tasting it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
For real?
Yeah, for real. All my kids, they're all like, "This lady's not tasting the stuff." They're real adamant about it.
Is
So
it
like
weird
the
that I want to
fork's
see
like
this
on the
now?
side.
Yeah, I know. yeah, to the side, or she'll just like, and then not
Remember
really
when
taste
TV
it?
had fun stories?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Buck Rogers, man.
Yeah.
Scooby Doo meets Johnny
Yeah,
Johnny
yeah.
Cash. Or
The
Jer-
rest.
no, Jerry Lee. Jerry Lee, wasn't it the
Jerry Lee Lewis, right?
No, gosh, the guy that was in Cannonball Run.
Oh,
There was like 100 people in Cannonball
Yeah.
Run.
No,
Half
the
the
main
Rat
guy.
Pack, Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise,
yeah. Did they meet Dom
Joey
DeLuise?
freaking Heatherton, for crying out loud.
They made-
Scooby and the gang meet Dom DeLuise.
oh yes, yes.
So, have a quick Dom DeLuise story. I used to work with a guy who did news on my morning radio show back in Boston, and he told the story of interviewing Dom DeLuise, who had released a cookbook. And so he was doing some interview to promote his cookbook, and during the interview, Dom DeLuise fell asleep.
Oh no!
During the interview, and you can actually hear him like starting to answer a question and kind of mumbling off. And there's just quiet, and then you hear. It's actually
that's
brilliant.
It's tiring
Crazy.
being dumb.
It is
Wow,
tough. Not just
wow.
anyone can
Jerry
be.
Reed is who I was thinking of.
Jerry Reed. That's right. They did meet Jerry Reed. Of all people for Scoob and the gang
Yes,
to hang out with.
Jerry Reed.
Jerry Reed.
Okay, I just want to say something. I can appreciate that. I remember this one now, but you're wrong. It was not. He was not in Cannonball Run. You're thinking Smokey and the
Smokey and the
Bandit.
Smokey and the
Bandit.
Bandit.
Smokey and
The other
Bandit.
Burt
You're right,
Reynolds
you're right. The other Burt
classic
Reynolds.
film from the
Exactly.
70s.
Which there's a whole bunch of people in that too.
Yeah, it is.
And my favorite story about that is seeing that one on broadcast television. You know, where they've edited it, for broadcast. And I remember,
The dubbing over. For,
the sheriff's mouth is going, "Why you?" And then you hear scum bum. Oh god.
I remember that too.
So this is
wait,
what
wait,
happens
wait.
when you drink hard kombucha. By the way, this is where the conversation goes.
It's gotten out of control and about to make it worse.
It's
So,
really weird because usually when we go on a tangent, we end up on Nicolas Cage.
Right. We went to Dom DeLuise instead of Nicolas
That's
Cage.
what kombucha does to you.
I don't know if that's a step up, to be completely honest with you. Ian, I don't know if we've got time left in this segment for you to tell us about what you smoked this week, so we'll get to that in our
post it
next
later.
segment. But I do think we should start drinking. So,
As it were.
Docs, you want to send us down the first path here?
Yeah,
What should we drink?
let's get going. You know what? Honestly, because I was at Specs today and I could hear the voice of Specs speaking to me as I was straightening up some things on the shelf. Let's start off with this one right here. This is the Ferrand cognac. It's a single cask cognac from a vintage of 2013.
I just want to mention while you're pouring that I was at the Whiskey Social this last weekend, and you guys were there. You poured me a cognac that was in some door knocker bottle special thing.
Yeah.
That was just outrageously good. What was that?
That was the Ferrand Légendaire.
Wow. Well, it was legendary.
Yes,
I
it
can
was.
tell you that.
That
It
was so much fun. You poured me a rum that wasn't out yet too. Is it a Barbados one?
Yeah, we're going to try this later today.
Oh,
Quit ruining the
I like
plot, man.
surprise.
You're turning to the back page first. You're ruining the mystery.
He's just
Sorry, bro.
he's just so anxious to move on from that hard kombucha that he's rushing us to the other spirits. This smells lovely.
It smells amazing.
So what we have here, guys, this is just one cask. We don't do single cask very often because how many times have you guys heard me say the magic of cognac is in the blend?
Right.
There's no blend here. This is just one barrel that's been slightly watered down to bottling proof of a little bit over 100, I believe, in
So
this one.
was this because they liked it so much they said we don't need to blend anything with it? Was that
Yes,
one?
exactly. So these are just some barrels that they went through and said, this is really special stuff. Let's put it all into one bottle. And Specs selected this one. So to get this one, the only place you're going to get it is at a Specs.
And what's that going to cost you?
this is
It's going to cost you $10,000.
I'm about to say that it's worth
Totally
it.
kidding. It's a lot less than that.
supposed to go like this.
$1 million.
$1 million.
So no. I think on the shelf I think I saw it for $125, but that's a bargain. So it's not.
It's pretty exquisite.
It's Kim Paul, my dear friend Kim Paul, that used to run the beverage program there at Etoile, and she's actually making her own Texas pastis now. She once called it the best effing thing we've ever done.
It's
when she tried
wonderful.
it.
It's got a
It is.
brightness
Wonderful.
to the aftertaste that is so polarizing.
And when we get back, I want to tell you a story about the label too.
Okay, we want to definitely hear that because I want to keep drinking this. So it's Smoking and Toasting. It's going to be quite a show today, I got to tell you. We're drinking with Docs, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. We're heard on broadcast radio, available on YouTube and everywhere where podcasts are listened to. So thanks for checking us out. Dox, I think you may have made a strategic error. Leading with this.
With that, yeah.
Like how are we? Wow. Is there anywhere to go but down from here? This is wonderful. This is single cask Ferrand cognac, and it's amazing.
You know, first you get my first name wrong, and now you want to challenge me. You question whether I can bring the strong game. I don't know you anymore, man.
All right, Andrew.
You know what?
That's
You know what? I'm wrapping it up. I'm gonna go book something on Chris Hart's show. I said his name. Ugh, I feel dirty now. This is the fact that every time someone mentions Chris Hart's name, an angel loses their wings.
Yeah, I think that's correct. By the way, I just wanted to mention, speaking of Chris Hart, who is part of the Whiskey Social and puts that on every year, and we had him on the show not too long ago, and when he was here, he noticed the cardboard stand-up of Dox, which had originated back on our 300th
hard
show,
not to notice it.
which
It's
Dox couldn't make it to that, but he sent the cardboard stand-up in his place. So we've had it around here. Chris really wanted to take it, and so he did, and it wound up at the Whiskey Social, watching everybody from up on the
That's
balcony.
right.
It was pretty cool.
Brilliant.
Did you wind up taking it home or?
Yeah, it's back home, safe, because I can no longer trust you two.
I
circus
loved it when I
animals
saw
like
it up
that.
there. I was just like, oh, that's so great.
Why would you let Christopher Hart, of all people, abscond with a
You were in my
flat
workshop
glass?
for quite a while, actually.
In our defense, he brought some really good whiskeys that day.
That's true.
So the usual, he applied with liquor. Check.
Yeah, that's
okay.
right.
good.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of applying this with liquor, this stuff is amazing. Like
is
seriously,
amazing.
that's some of the best cognac I've ever tasted.
So and here's the thing: it's not that terribly old. Also, it's a little bit short of 10 years old, so not quite an XO. But you know, immediately for me on the palate, I get a combination of bright citrus as an orange peel,
Yep.
and chocolate and cocoa. It's almost like one of those chocolate oranges you'd get, you know, in the stocking for Christmas and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I got to ask you about the label. It's like what looks like a farmer with the grapes and his dog.
Yeah, that's somebody that worked on Ile Ferrand's team. There was some fusion that might actually be him. That's not him. That's one of his animal handlers, because you know the guy used to have his own zoo and like sort of different exotic animals and that sort of thing. But he also
Kind of like Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Maybe Joe Exotic?
Well,
The French Neverland.
let's just
Ranch.
put it this way: one of them liked 12-year-old cognacs, and the other one just liked 12-year-olds.
Oh, man. But you know,
That door was just wide open right there.
it's what we like to do here on the show. We set them up and let you knock them down. That's the way it
But
works.
seriously, that's not funny. Anyway, so this is what that is. That's Ile Ferrand. He loved Great Danes, and he had quite a few of them. And was they're like his main one was always Roland. So that's Roland the Second on there with one of his firearms. But we dedicated this one. It's actually it was sort of a panic move. You know, we need time to get these things logoed and labeled and that sort of thing. And it was dropped in my lap at the last minute. And being that there was a very cool dog on there, Trey here, and stuff, they had lost their dog Aurora last year. So we dedicated this one for them. So it says for Aurora on the side there.
So, and by the way, I lost my dog this last week. Gracie.
Did you really? I'm so sorry.
Seriously, and I'm
Sorry,
still stinging from that a little bit because it's so hard. It's so hard to let go. The weirdest thing is her favorite place in the house was the bathroom. She liked to lay down on the floor in the bathroom, and that's where she would go. And now every time I go in to use it, I'm expecting to see her there. And
The
she's
worst
not
is when
there.
you forget about it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I've heard it said that dogs are shooting stars.
Yeah.
They're beautiful, but they're part of our lives, but they go too quickly.
They do. They do for sure. So I love seeing the dog on.
What
the
was her
label.
name?
It's very cool. Gracie.
Gracie? Well, here's to Gracie.
To Gracie. Yes,
Chin chin.
absolutely.
Cheers.
And with that, we will take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a few for more spirits, and also got to find out what Ian has smoked this week, because he's sitting on what I believe to be a monster review.
It's madness.
Let's see what's going to happen. It's Smoking and Toasting. We're all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars, and we will be right back.
Smooth operation, now crumbling from the floor.
Welcome Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting, our show all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. It's show number 355, which has us officially...
That's if you do the math, that's halfway to 400.
Okay, good to know. While Ian is opening our beer that we're about to taste, I have to take care of a moment of very unpleasant business. And gentlemen, I hope you'll indulge me. Our show is based out of Houston, Texas. That's where Ian and I both live. You guys both live here as well. And my younger brother, is 6 years younger than me, and he lives in Dallas. And so during the Texas Rangers, Houston Astros American League Championship series, which the Rangers are from Dallas, the Astros obviously are from Houston.
I smell a bet coming on.
He and I did a little bet. And the bet was that the loser had to wear a cap from the winner in public places. So with you guys as my witness, I have to do this now because I have to be be able to send him actual footage of
This
the
is
show.
hard to watch. You know this, right?
It's even harder to do. Trust me.
This is hard to watch.
Should I go ahead and camera one straight to
Camera one straight to me with a Texas Rangers cap.
Wow, look at the sadness.
Wow.
You're just wearing
Can you
sadness.
see how?
I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be sick.
All right. So,
wow.
so there, I did it, and that's done.
I can't
Thank
look
you
you in
very
the eye anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I've lost friends. I've lost people who weren't even really my friends. I've just
I
lost.
just feel like just walking out of here.
Well,
I've just lost people.
Ian's like, I can't work
And
this
for
way.
those of you who are just listening, he just wore that American League cap.
Yeah, it was a Texas Rangers cap, the American League champion cap, and it was one of the lower points, I would say.
If you
of my-
like,
of
I
my
have
year.
when the Astros won the championship. You can wear that one home.
Okay,
just to
thank you,
feel
Terry.
better.
Terry, you're a good person.
just to
in the
cleanse your
car.
mental palate.
I just keep it in the car.
Speaking of my palate, I'm very anxious to try this next beer. This is from Bad Astronaut Brewing, which is a really cool brewery
all of
name. It's here in. Did you not get one, Dox?
No, you guys passed too
yours.
far around. I gave him his, and then you all started passing
Oh,
his.
okay. Well, here we go. We got to come back
There
this
we go.
way.
All right,
Like the
we're
Mad
good.
Hatter moved down.
My bad.
Move down.
And somehow that got me the lower pour. I don't know how that happened, but
There's more in the can.
okay.
We haven't tried it yet, though, so you may or may not
So
want it.
it's Bad Astronaut Cloud Punch. It's their German-style Pilsner. They are based out of right here in our hometown of
There's
Houston,
not a lot of
Texas.
nose on here. It's got a pretty clean nose. on
It smells a little like beer, and that's about it, right? Not a heavy nose, but
And what is it?
it's a German-style Pilsner
German-style Pilsner.
called Cloud Punch.
That is the lightest German style
I have
anything
to
I've ever
agree.
had.
Yeah,
I
it is
wanted
very
more
light.
out of this.
I like it.
I want more of it.
Like it.
I wanted more out of it.
I think it's just imminently drinkable.
It's nice.
It
It's
is,
not,
as you said, though, a much lighter flavored version
it's
of
so light.
a
But I
German
do
style
taste that
Pilsner.
European
Yes.
accent in there. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's like
do
a viscosity to it.
Yeah, it does. It does. The way that the carbonation is in it too.
Mm-hmm.
Something about that.
What, Dox? What you like
Hit your
this?
tongue.
Right?
You like this one?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So last night was Danny's birthday. We went to Texas Beer Garden for dinner. And what did you say about the beers? Remember?
Well, there was a Bad Astronaut, and I was trying to figure out if I still had the.
Well, we had the same Hefeweizen and
Live Oak.
Yeah, it was just for the meal. It was just so heavy. We had one each, and I ordered another one. And he said the only reason why he ordered another one because I ordered one, and and just I barely finished it. I would have finished this one, and just for that meal, a real heavy German style was just too much.
a little
This
too
would have been perfect.
That Live Oak Hefeweizen is one of the best Hefeweizens.
It
out
really is good. But you're not crazy about this, though, Ian.
there. It's not that I don't like it. I just wanted more.
You just want a bigger
So
flavor.
this is a little lighter.
It's too light for him.
Yeah,
If
but I
you're-
mean,
but
here's
if
the
you're
thing.
a person that
if you like the lighter side of beers, this has got good flavor.
Yeah.
It's just not.
right.
Exactly.
This would be. I would say, think of this less like replacing your German style Pilsner. Think of it as replacing somebody's Miller Lite or
Yes.
Bud Light. This
Yes.
would be a
Yes.
great step into the world of better tasting beer. But that
I
would
mean, if you like flavorless beer, this
Yes.
is going to be a great step into flavor. That's for sure.
well, I think
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're like a Bud Light, well, I mean, because it's hard to tell. Because like Miller Light is near flavorless. Bud Light actually has actively, I think, bad flavor.
yeah, I was going to say that's why I prefer Miller Lite if that choice is between the two, because it doesn't have as much flavor, but the flavor the Bud Light has I don't like. So I'd rather go with the Miller Lite and have
That's why
that.
I
Just,
can't be a bartender. Someone comes
Yeah.
up and asks for a Bud Light, I might just punch them.
you know, I can't tell you how many times
Don't hire me
I've
as a
been
bartender.
I've been like sitting at a bar and someone comes up and orders one of those beers, and my wife appreciates that I stop myself from this, but I just want to say to him, there's better beer. Like, you don't have to do that.
Trey, if you're looking for bartenders over at the rail yard,
Yeah.
We are hiring part time.
We'll completely scare away
I
all
have
of
a
your
polarizing nature when it comes
that's
to
right. Yeah,
bartending.
that's right. So Ian has a polarizing nature in general, but we still like to have him do cigar reviews here on the show. So this is the point of the program where I ask you if you've had the opportunity to smoke anything interesting lately.
I did. As a matter of fact, I went by Casa this morning and picked up a Foundation cigar. And I'm a fan of Foundation to begin with. I picked up the Metapa. This is brand new. And I'm going to read a little bit off the website here because they do such a nice job on this. Ruben Dario is considered one of the greatest poets of the Spanish language and was born in the city of Metapa, Nicaragua, on January 18, 1867. Dario is known for his modernist poetry, which has revolutionized the Spanish language and influenced generations of poets to come. Ruben Dario died in 1916 and is known as one of Nicaragua's most significant national heroes. Metapa is a bunch of that. Anyway, this is dedicated to this guy. Okay, that's what this cigar is all about, and I love the Foundation cigars anyway. They're just like, as a whole, I don't know that I've had one that I didn't like. So this was the Metapa Maduro in a Robusto shape at 5x50 ring gauge. The wrapper is an Ecuadorian Sumatra Maduro wrapper with a USA Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, and then filler from Esteli and Jalapa, Nicaragua. So 3 countries going on here, which is really a lot of fun. And then the appearance on this espresso brown wrapper, smooth leather and oily, almost no veins, box pressed and firm overall feel. Pre-light sniff on this rich, dark chocolate, grainy black coffee, earth and barnyard. The pre-light draw, I used a punch, had an effortless draw. Sweet, creamy coffee, leather, and earth is what I got on that pre-light draw. The initial light on this, Nicaraguan pepper blast with complexity. Sometimes you get that pepper blast, it's just pepper blast. This has some complexity going on. Billowing and incredibly dense smoke issues forth from this. The retrohale is spicy and nutty. The first third of the cigar barely backing down with the initial spice bomb. Sweet and earthy notes right on top of a spicy foundation. Pun intended, that strikes at the tip of the tongue and follows the palate all the way throughout. The retrohale is spicy and nutty, solid ash, uneven burn.
Oh.
The second third of this flavor profile settles in and reveals subtle toast and sweet tea, burnt caramel, and meaty broth, along with spicier backbone that was going throughout. I tended the burn and insisted on burning at a somewhat of an angle the whole way through here, which was okay because at least that was consistent, right?
Right.
Retrohale is peppery and sweet with nuts and cedar, solid ash, uneven burn. The last third of this, woody and toasty notes with chocolate and nuts move forward. Spicy and peppery flavors remain consistent, and underlying sweetness throughout this whole cigar is really, really a nice touch. The burn evened out at the very last. I put evening out, like in the evening. Retrohale is nutty, cedar, and spicy solid ash. Good burn on the last bit. This thing is $15.50. It's inexpensive. That's a super premium cigar right there. It was outrageously good, though.
Yeah.
So I give it a solid 5. You get exactly what you're paying for here. You were getting that $15.50 out of it. It burned for a decent amount of time. It burned well. Although it did burn uneven, it stayed uneven until the very end and then evened itself out.
So in 5, as you said, on the price to quality scale,
Yes.
means you get what you pay for. It's a 1 to 10 scale. Something scores above a 5, it means it's punching above its weight class.
That's right,
basically.
right.
So at $15 to get a 5, this is pretty good rating.
That's a pretty good cigar.
Well, this week I returned to the concept of I smoke the El Cheapos.
By the way, that was made in the A.J. Fernandez factory.
Oh, I'm not surprised, given its excellent rating. This week I returned to the concept of I smoke the El Cheapos, so you don't have to. I've been
smoke one called Dark Shark.
Yeah,
have you
no,
seen that one?
I have not done the Dark Shark. No, but I have been working my way through a sampler pack that I got from JR Cigar online. And this one that I smoked was from that pack. It is the JR Special Corona Toro Habano Rosado. And
for you to say.
Yeah, and you know how they do these sampler packs, right? It'll have several cigars in it that would sell for much more if you bought them individually. And so to balance it out, they throw a few El Cheapos in there to make it,
Which sometimes are pleasant.
And this was one of them. So the special Corona line actually comes in 3 different wrapper configurations: a Connecticut, a Maduro, and Habano Rosado Ecuador, which was the one that I smoked. In addition to the Ecuadorian Habano Rosado wrapper, the special Corona is blended with aged Indonesian and Nicaraguan tobacco for the binder and fillers. I generally expect an El Cheapo to have like vegetal and grassy notes on the pre-light sniff, but in this case it was deeper tobacco, earth, and coffee. So we were off to a pretty good start. I used a punch to light her up, and well, I didn't light it with the punch, but you know what I mean. I wasn't necessarily greeted by a Nicaraguan pepper blast, more like the Nicaraguan pepper breeze that Ian has described, just enough to tingle my tongue from the outset. Earth and leather were my friends right off the bat with the special Corona, along with pepper and a hint of citrus zest. Nice earthy notes dominated the first third. Construction was surprisingly very good. Second third didn't change a whole lot from the first, but weaved in a coffee note that went well with the earth and leather. Pepper on the retrohale and a nice satisfying finish. By the final third, I was pretty impressed with this cigar. I kept waiting for the gotcha moment, that it might start canoeing or become too harsh or just lose its overall complexity. But none of that ever happened. Earth and coffee in the last third, along with the cedar note and the pepper from before. Definitely a medium-bodied smoke. It picked up a little power in the final third. Great construction all the way through. Better than some cigars, quite frankly, costing a whole lot more. Overall, I have to say that this was a highly satisfying cigar. Now, I should stress, it's not an A.J. Fernandez Diablo or a My Father the Judge. It doesn't play on that level. But let me tell you something. It's a very impressive smoke. It's kind of like if you watch the Las Vegas Raiders and they play really well and win a football game. You can respect their talent and skill and really enjoy the game, even though you know they have zero chance of ever making it to the Super Bowl, right? Probably in our lifetime. But that said, the JR Special Corona Toro Habano Rosado, it's a damn fine cigar. And here is the deal, my friends. I almost hate to tell you this because I don't want these to all sell out so well that I can't get them. The cost is about $2 a cigar.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's right. All hail El Cheapo. Well, I do recommend letting
For
these...
those of you non-Spanish speaking folks, El Cheapo is Spanish for the cheapo.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. I do recommend letting these age in your humidor a bit. At $2, you pretty much cannot go wrong with the JR Special Corona Toro Habano Rosado. Price to quality, 8.5.
What?
It was $2, Ian. It was $2.
Can I say something? As many times as I've been on this show, I don't think I've heard him give anything that high a rating before.
I think it's the highest rating
That's
I've
solid.
ever given.
I think it is.
I think you gave a 9 once, right?
I did give a 9
Yeah, to a black and mild
to a black and mild.
because it was 98 cents.
It was 98 cents.
Wow. Was it free?
You gave it.
Wow.
Was it?
Actually,
they,
it was
they
given to
paid
me.
him to smoke the cigar.
There you go.
So that's why I got it.
So on the way up here, I
this
had
is really good.
I had a grape Swisher Sweet. It had notes of cognac and knee-high grape soda. I actually found it. I found it outside in the parking lot. I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay. I think
Finish
you
of
should.
depression.
I think you should.
Like part of it is just the surrounding.
For that,
the surrounding. What's the word? Situation.
right?
too.
Sure, of course.
And I was sitting around playing Cards Against Humanity with a friend. He brought a cigar for me. He thought it was funny. He's like, here's a black and mild, and I actually really enjoyed it. I sat down and enjoyed it. It's a 98-cent cigar.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it a lot.
And so that
in
was
that
the one you
situation.
decided to review. But I'm telling you, this cigar, like,
I mean, it's what I
seriously,
pair with your cognacs all the time. I mean, what?
The black and mild goes really well with the single cask. I got to tell you. No, but this cigar was really good. I mean, it was not. I don't want to overhype it
Oh,
because
that's a
it
bold
wasn't.
statement.
Yeah, but I don't want to overhype it, but it was really good. It played on a level definitely of a $6,
Way above
$7
the
cigar.
Yeah, way above the $2.
For $2, you can have 3 of them for that. So yeah, I gotta love it.
It's a great lawnmower pick then.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? For me, this is now going to be my go-to for in the car with the top down.
Yeah.
Because you can't appreciate a lot of nuance, but you still want good flavor. If you're driving in the wind and stuff. So that's going to be that for me. So I look forward to that.
Going to be in your glove box humidor.
Yep, that's exactly right. And I by the way, want to be able to convert my glove box to a humidor. humidor. So I'm working on that, being able to do that soon. I'm hoping. So a lot to talk about on the show today. We will probably tell you about some cigars to watch for. We have a lot to taste, so we're going to do like mega tasting in the next few segments, because I got to tell you, there's too much good stuff sitting on this counter, or what I anticipate will be good stuff that we definitely want to get to. And well, there's just so much going on, but I do have to tell you about this because we wanted to do it last week and we didn't get to it. From the category of spirits we didn't need, Tamworth Distilling's new brandy, we have to talk about it, so we'll get to that coming up as well. It's Smoking and Toasting, and we'll be right back to taste some more good stuff. Welcome back. It is Smoking and Toasting. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. And are you actually going to pour some Weller?
I am. Or Greg, are you pouring it? Am I pouring it? I guess
Hold
I
on.
brought it.
It's your bottle, you pour it.
So
Not only is this the 107,
Freshly opened.
yeah, and this
Yes.
is
Look
this
at
is
that.
exciting because this obviously
It's the older screw cap
it's-
too that they no
but
longer make. I've been told.
this is the stuff that you've got like on hand at your bar.
just
though,
cracked
right?
that
Yes.
open.
Yeah, so that's
And that's
exciting.
not only the old school 107, but that's a special cask, right?
Yes, it's
so,
a single cask 107. So
Nice.
Would you like to sniff the bottle cap?
No, I'm just going to
That
sniff
was-
the snifter here. Oh my goodness! So while he's pouring that, I just wanted to note that this is the first year that my holiday celebration will be incomplete, because part of my holidays every year is enjoying that year's Anchor Brewing Company Our Special Ale, which is their holiday.
Yeah, and they
this is the
stopped
first
it.
year. Yeah, the first year. It was first brewed in 1975, and it's a little bit different every year, but it's always fantastic. And it met its unceremonious end in package form this past June at the hand of Sapporo USA, the parent firm of San Francisco's Anchor Brewing. And then they shut down Anchor Brewing about a month later, pulled the plug on it. However, Anchor Brewing, according to an article in VinePair, has a future. Former workers are still fighting to be part of it, to do what's necessary to be able to purchase it and bring back Anchor Brewing as an active and working brewery. So if we cross our fingers and hope maybe by next year's holiday season we'll be able to have Anchor's special year-end holiday ale.
That would be amazing.
I
You
miss
know, following this trend of breweries buying themselves back, you know, from the
Well, a lot of there's one of the things that's making a lot of news right now is craft breweries, some of them going out of business. And then the other news is that a lot of the big beer companies that bought them are selling them back to the original owners in many cases. So it's an interesting trend, and it's nice to see it. Nice to see it working that way. I don't want to talk about that for too long, because if I do, it'll slow me down on being able to taste this Weller. Again,
You know, I'm such a huge fan of Weller anyway.
yeah. So again, this is the Antique 107. Did you say this is single cask? Is that right?
Single barrel.
yes, it
select.
is a single barrel select. So what I've been told with 107 is it's a small batch of multiple barrels. But what Buffalo Trace does with this one is they had allowed us. We actually went to Frankfort, Kentucky, and they gave us 4 different barrels to sample of that profile, but differences within the profile. And it's amazing how different the 4 were. One was very light. One was more of a traditional 107. This one had a little bit of a spicier
There's a
note.
spicy punch to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we thought that was great on its own in an old fashioned and some other cocktails.
I feel like this could bring like peace to the Middle East. This is how good this is. You know,
This will bring all the boys to the yard.
if they just sat down with a couple bottles of this, I think they could work everything out. You know what I'm saying? It's really that good. I mean,
It's so good.
It's Docs, what do you think of this?
So I was just, my brain goes in all kinds of places when I relax for a second, and I had to reel it back in. So last night, after enjoying that nice German meal, we went back to the house and made some cocktails, and we made some old fashions. And Stephanie said it'd be nice if we had some cinnamon sticks to light and toast and
Sure,
put it in the cocktail as an aromatic
Sure, yeah.
garnish. And I had some cinnamon sticks, and so we lit them up, and it's reminding me of that. I'm getting that smokiness
cinnamon,
with a little bit of spice
does have a
right on the nose
smokiness
there. Yeah.
and of course there's cinnamon, but it does have that smokiness too, and but it's not like a peated smokiness. It's more like a just
No, no, no.
Toasted
yeah,
kind of
toasted,
thing.
toasty, yes.
Toasted, a
Absolutely,
toasty
for sure.
campfire, if you will.
Yes.
I am digging it. This is. And do you have this available behind the bar at the Rodeo?
Yes, we actually do still have several cases of it left. So this was a release that we had pre-COVID, and during the forgotten times, it
Yeah.
sat there, and so we still have some left.
So I know we don't have a lot of time left in this segment, but tell me briefly, how did you guys survive, COVID and nobody going out and all of that? I mean, what did you do to weather the storm?
It was not easy. We don't have a kitchen, so a lot of the rules were in flux the whole time. From early COVID on, we were one of the first businesses to close the day before St. Patrick's Day, and then one of the final to reopen. We just went lean and mean. We were able to get some of the government funding to help our bartenders out while we were closed. We always operated very strongly in terms of being able to weather storms like that, and just kind of cross our fingers and hope for the best during the blip, I guess.
I was so glad to see that you guys reopened, because there were a lot of
Us too.
places that didn't, and it was a big thing. It was a big thing. All right, lots to do. We got to say goodbye to some of our listeners whose stations only carry the first hour of the show. If you are at one of those stations, please find the second hour, because the second hour is always the best. If nothing else, we've had more to drink by then, and so you can find it on YouTube or anywhere that podcasts are found. And we'll be right back. Drinking News is right around the corner, and we got way more to sample. It's Smoking and Toasting. You're looking for cups? Oh no, you're looking for the opening to open some. Yeah. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. And while we are opening bottles and cans here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's just awesome. Nothing but bona fide sound effects here on Smoking and Toasting. Under the category of spirits, we did not need. The Tamworth Distillery, House of Tamworth in New England, has just released their House of Tamworth Saison de Fry, F-R-A-I. It is a smoked trout flavored brandy.
What?
Why?
You ever wanted your beer to taste like a fish?
Why?
Well,
Yeah.
here you go.
Why would you want a brandy that tastes like a trout?
In case you did,
Yeah, I don't get it.
What do you want to do tonight? Let's have some fish. Well, I feel like having some brandy. Now, two of your favorites are in one bottle.
Yeah, and
You
I-
can mix them
I
together.
wanna-
You
wanna
got
point
brandy in my trout. You got trout in my brandy.
Yeah, and I just want to point out,
two great tastes that taste great together.
you know, when they had that trout on the bottom yogurt, I was against that too. So I just
Trout
didn't,
on the bottom.
I didn't feel like that was
Real chunks of fish.
necessary. Yes.
Besides, I
Yes.
mean, everyone knows trout and scotch is way better, right?
Sure.
I want to point this out to you, by the way. You brought this beer.
Does anyone
Yes.
even say, like,
So-
I sure would like brandy with my trout
Yeah.
when they're eating? Like, does
course
anyone
they
Oh,
do.
here,
order?
pass
I just
these
want to know what
along.
the eau de vie is of
Yeah,
the trout.
that's
Is
right. Some questions.
unaged
Some
trout.
questions are better left unanswered. Ian was pointing out that this may be the haziest
Here, let's pass
IPA
this-
we've
pass
ever
that
seen.
one down.
It is.
This is
super
so. I got
hazy.
the bottom of the
You got the bottom of the
bottom
can.
of the
Yeah.
can, and it's got
So
trub.
yeah.
It's
well,
got chunks.
So what we are
Mine is
sampling
hazier.
here is from the brewery called Phase 3. And Phase 3 is a pretty innovative brewery. We've had their Mexican lager on the show before and some of the rest. But this is an IPA. It's the DDH Bokeh, B-O-K-E-H, Bokeh Orbs. And it's a hazy double. Are you pouring me more?
I'm pouring you a little more because you're gonna get the other.
I'm going to get the rest
Look
of
at
the
chunky
haze. Is
stuff.
what you, okay, yeah. Well, I'm always making fun of you for hazy beers, so now you can, for chunky beers, so now you can make fun of me for chunky IPA.
It smells great though.
Yeah. Oh, it really does. It really
Double
does.
dry hop,
Now I know you're
hazy,
not a big IPA
double
guy,
India
so I'm
Pale
not.
Ale.
I feel like I just ate like a bounty sheet.
I'm not expecting you to like this one, but what about you?
Well,
Are you-
it
are you an
definitely
IPA
has
guy?
all the nose that the last one lacked, right?
Right.
I mean, the Bad Astronaut.
The nose is nice, yeah.
But it has that very, very IPA.
Wow, it's big. It's big and it's bold, and I love it. What about you, Ian? You're pickier about IPAs than me. I have a tendency to like a lot more of them than I
It took
don't.
2 sips. I love the mouthfeel on this.
Yeah.
It's got a big, round, silky kind of mouthfeel to it. It took 2 sips to really get the flavor through, but that might be because I just had a piece of chocolate and stuff like that. It's pretty good. It tastes like orange peel, orange zest. What else is it?
I'm getting a little grapefruit in there.
Grape,
Oh,
yeah, grape juice, that's
no,
for
check
sure.
it out. It says right here. It says, according to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverages during.
Oh, that
pregnancy.
explains the grapefruit.
Yeah. So this is coming in at 7.7% as well.
Does it say what hops they use? I think it does say that at the bottom. Underneath
Cashmere and Citra.
Okay, so the cashmere is where the funky is coming from, and the citra obviously is where we're getting the grapefruit and the orange zest. But that's very good because cashmere is a really interesting hop. Like I've had some IPAs with cashmere that are just like way like over the top dank. This is not that dank, but it's definitely big.
Man, look how thick that bottom of the
Yeah, it's pretty thick.
bottom of the can was.
Dox is not an IPA guy,
yeah,
so I didn't.
the look
Dox
on
is-
his face.
He's refusing
I
to
think y'all
even
did it
look
on
in this
purpose.
direction.
Well, I
He's
will
just
say
like,
I normally cannot stand IPAs either, even though they're very popular and it has the nose of it, but it feels well balanced, and I don't get a lot of that hop and bitterness.
It's
that
not
smack
super
of
bitter on the
bitterness.
back.
Yeah, it's
No.
not resinous. It's got that fruity, zesty kind of tartness to
Phase
it.
3 is they're coming out with some really interesting stuff. I have to say for these guys, I really like them. I think that's good. As the guy who likes IPAs, I think it's fantastic.
This is nice. This is a good IPA.
If you
It's
offered it to me,
fantastic.
I would drink it and not the water.
They,
at the-
they
at
should put the
gathering.
addition of please
And not
roll
the
gently
kombucha. Yeah.
before you pour it.
Yeah, that we probably should have read that first. But
Are those hops cashmere? Of course they're cashmere. Come on, from Seinfeld?
yeah,
The sweater?
of course they're
Cashmere
blend.
blend.
Yeah.
It's cashmere.
Of course it's
blend.
cashmere.
It's pink cashmere. Isn't that a Prince song?
What's that red dot?
Yeah. All right, so let's move to spirits. Doc has poured it. Which one is this that you poured now?
I don't remember. I'm still thinking about my bounty sheet.
Is it this one here? Or?
No, it's this
Do you
one
need
here.
a palate cleanse?
So what we have here is we have 2 from our Plantation Extreme.
Okay. What does
which is-
extreme mean? Does it
it's-
mean what it
it's
sounds
French,
like?
It's French for extreme.
Okay.
And the best way that I can describe it,
To
or
the
like to say is,
extreme.
this is Plantation Unplugged. This is going to be usually some higher proof. We're not using any dosage on this one.
Right.
Really meant to embody the intense side of whichever
There.
rum island or country that we're showcasing. In this case, they're both be Barbados.
There's a dark woolliness to this.
It's got
I love
a
it.
wonderful, wonderful nose.
Yes, the nose is absolutely just beautiful.
Yeah. Rum is just so, like, I have such an appreciation for great rum, and I can tell even before I taste
Oh,
this
wow.
that
It's
I'm
like
going to love it.
Wow.
Like a chocolatey note with cinnamony kind of thing going on. There's a
I taste the cinnamon, definitely.
That's just...
like the retro hails, like a whole nother set of flavors.
So when you're telling me that it's extreme, I'm actually expecting it
I didn't know you spoke French.
to be... and now you know. But I'm actually expecting it to be funkier, and it's actually extremely easy to drink.
Well, keep in mind when we talk about funk, for the most part, that's really going to be something that's for Jamaican rum, and that's going to be because usually of the fact that there's a long, definitely a long fermentation process. It's a longer one, this one, but also though that sometimes the muck pit method, I should say. We already talked about the muck pit, right?
Yeah.
Should I go over that again?
Sure, go for it.
Okay.
It's always a good idea to revisit.
Okay.
The Muck Pit, ladies and gentlemen.
it's the
Smoking
Muck
a
Pit.
toast.
This is Muck Pit by Greg Doxakis. Hit me a C, a bouncy C.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Set the scene. Set the scene. We're in Jamaica.
We're in Jamaica.
It's
Picture
95
it.
degrees.
Picture it.
Beautiful
It's
sunny
Jamaica. The year was 1996. So sounds like Alice's restaurant there.
Yaman.
I'm totally expecting some Marley, but
So the muck pit is basically going to be a runoff of various cane products, old fermentation, old cane juice, whatever crawls in there and dies and that sort of thing, and it's like a real muck. And they'll take this muck and they'll put it into the next fermentation batch to kind of give it that same continuity of flavor and that funk.
So it's kind of like what's left over after the whole process.
Yeah, and there'll be some dunder in there also, which is the runoff of when actually they do some distilling. There'll be like an oily black runoff called dunder, and they'll put that back into the muck pit also. And just all kinds of things that give it that local terroir. Now, they don't really do this in other countries, to my knowledge, but a little secret time here. Everybody put your pinkies out and promise you won't tell anyone. We're going to be working on some muck pit projects in Barbados. Vivian Wisdom, who's running up most of our projects in Jamaica, is loaning his expertise to our team at West Indies Rum Distillery, Barbados, and soon we're going to be distilling some muck pit, I guess fermented, you would call it, Barbados rums.
This is absolutely wonderful.
Yes.
So very rare. We only got like six packs of this when we first brought it in about 6 months ago. And you can find it down there at Specs number 0 there on Smith Street. And this is the Barbados 2007. We tried the 2007 first, and it's 116 proof. I'm going to pop another one here. I wrote about a 2000 vintage, and this one's going to be actually a lot less in the proof and the strength, but still all of the body and that forwardness. This one's going to be, I believe, 98 proof. I'm going to double check my math here real quick.
So the first one was how big?
That one was 116.
116.
This
and
one
98.
is just shy of 99.
Can I just point out that they really are after Ian today for the after show thing, because his is poured the most, and he's trying to figure out what to do right now. Like, I have to play after this.
Yeah, we've already talked about it. So Ian's band is recording a studio session thing with Made in Texas Radio after this show. So we already know that Ian's mic's going to be turned off.
They've got it out for me.
That album's going to come out. It's going to be called The Sloppy Session.
Yeah, that's right. I love that. Docs, what is this first bottle that we tried? The 2008?
2007.
2007?
This is the one you let me try yesterday.
What does this retail for if I can find a bottle?
Oh boy, I believe the 2007 is a $200 range. I really should have looked at this because I was just there the other day.
Because I'm thinking I should buy a bottle of this on my way home.
If you want it, I would get it because I don't see it lasting through the Christmas season. And this one should be about $100 or more.
The one we're trying now is $100 more?
Yeah. And
so
this
it's a lesser proof, but it's a 2000.
Right.
Not that it will help you, but I did see them in Orange County at the store recently. So if you're
Orange
in
County,
California,
California, good to
it's
know.
a wonderful
I'll
liquor
run
store
over
there
there
that I
today.
saw
We do
both of these.
We do have
beautiful
listeners
bottles.
in Orange County, so
Run over there today.
So it's good to know.
So this one, what?
This smells totally.
This
the
is
nose is different,
so
but
good.
wonderful. Just completely different, but completely more. I mean,
Now,
it's
to
just
me,
wonderful.
on the nose, this is much funkier than the last one.
You keep saying funky. I'm going to say musty.
Musty, okay. I think funky is a more positive term than
Funky in a George
musty.
Clinton kind of way.
No, but I like I think listen.
Funkadelic.
What are these? What are the Brent Mustburger? These are what are these aged in?
An attic.
Apparently, some kind of what did you call it? A muck pit.
A cellar? No,
Oh, a cellar.
A muck pit is what goes into the fermentation.
I know.
You know,
I just wanted to say muck pit.
Just fun to say.
Yeah.
for two bottles that look very similar,
Yeah, these could
they
be
are
more different.
the difference in
so
the
different.
actual contents of the bottles
See,
is amazing.
I still want to describe it as funkier because, as you know, here on the program, Smoking and Toasting, we want the funk.
We actually.
You see, I just
We
want
want
to. This was all
We
just
gotta-
one big
we
setup.
gotta have
It
the
was just what it was. It was all elaborate ploy to keep an ongoing joke going. Just one more show, at least one more show.
Because don't you feel like jokes get funnier every time they're told?
You certainly do.
They pick up a little bit of funny. They pick up a little bit of funny every time they're told.
My wife, I think, is in your camp.
So
She
you
does
know,
not
well,
think they
right
get funnier.
now, my wife is going. See, that's how that feels to hear the same thing over and over again.
This is really good. I don't know that I like it more than the previous one. It's wildly different.
I think it's brighter.
Yes.
Than the other one. The other one's more. It's going to. This one's the 2007 is more dense. I think the 2000 is more brighter. And my personal palate, I'm down with the 2000. And plus, I know me, guys. I don't like to go travel too far north of 100 proof.
Yeah, I get you.
I like both of them a lot. This one though, this one hits all those little.
So you like the
It
second
hits
one, but you
different.
like the 2000
I
better?
like how left of normal this is. It's got some crazy like funky stuff going on. I'm gonna say funk. It's got some crazy funky stuff going on in there.
Because we want the fun.
It is so
and an
different.
earthy, like almost like a.
Is that what is the finish?
Like a
I was getting
volcanic,
earthy. How would you?
kind of thing.
No, absolutely. I think.
I was trying
earthy
to
for sure.
figure out
Earthy is
that
very-
finish.
very-
And
Earth,
earthy,
it's like that
yeah.
volcanic or like that.
I feel like I'm
really
experiencing the terroir.
Yes.
You know?
And thank you, because that's the mission at Plantation. And take a look, if you know, on the labels there. I know we showed them earlier. We wanted the art to really
those
kind of.
labels are so beautiful. Look
well,
at this bus.
it
on
does.
We
this
wanted
house.
to highlight the color and just the heart and the vibe of Barbados, and I think they did a really good job of capturing it.
You guys
love
always
it.
do a
I
beautiful
love it.
job with these labels.
This has
This
been
one's
one of
got
my
the boat
favorite
on the
segments
back.
because we had a big beer and two big rums, and that's a great segment, in my opinion.
My band's
And we'll
Good
be
segment,
For the
everybody.
cycle.
We'll be right back.
Let's
It's
just take the rest
Smokin'
of the day off.
And toasting. Oh, we will. Except for Ian, who has to play in a. We'll be right back.
Oh no, for completely different. Okay.
No.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show's all about craft beer, fine spirits, which, boy, did we have some fine spirits in that last segment, and hand-rolled cigars. Docs, I love when you come on the show because you're a lot of fun to have on, but your rums are just, like, you've brought
He's
on some of
gregarious.
the best spirits we've had on this show. Seriously, have been things you brought on, so thank you. I appreciate that.
Get all mushy on me
Yeah,
there, man.
well,
I'm gonna
yeah.
love you guys.
It's like I say all the time. When we have Andrew Doxakis on the show, it's always good.
Oh, Andy.
Honestly, I don't know.
Robert
I
Doxakis.
honestly don't know where that came from. Like, I don't even know an Andrew.
It's a clip. It's all right. We, it's. I feel like your family.
Okay, well that's good. Then we can
I
insult
don't.
each
I don't
other.
talk. I don't talk to them much.
Yes.
He's just calling you. He's like the dad calling you by like another one of the kids' names.
Yeah.
No, that happens all the time.
Well, it's his non-standard name, Greg. You know, it's just really.
Yeah, it's such an odd and different
Yes.
sort of name. It's
Why
hard
did
to
his
get
mother
used
do
to.
that to him?
It's hard to get used to. All right, you have some Eagle Rare sitting there looking
I do.
really, really pretty. So while you pour that, tell us a little bit about this choo-choo train here. This looks. My aunt was really, really good with ceramics. My Aunt Dorothy, and this looks like something she might have made. But this is something you guys have at the bar. Is that right? At the rail yard?
We haven't released it yet, but this
Okay.
was our big. You mentioned COVID earlier. This was
Yeah.
our big COVID project. We had always talked about should we do. You know, we're not a tiki bar.
Right.
We love to go to tiki bars. We're all big tiki
I'm
fans.
a fan. Yeah, I'm a fan.
But we wanted to do. We kind of played with the idea, and so we reached out to Tiki Farm in San Clemente, California, talking about Orange County earlier. And they make mugs for everybody. They do a lot of big theme park mugs. They do smaller tiki
They
bar
do
mugs from
Disney
many
stuff, don't
places.
they? Yeah.
I don't know if they can say, but yes,
Okay.
they do a lot of. Everyone's familiar with Trader Sam's. They
It's been
do work
mentioned
with.
that they might have.
Yes.
They
something
may
Yes,
make
for
them
the
for a
mouse.
mouse
they may
somewhere.
have a great partnership with certain larger producers and
Yeah,
yes,
I got
certain
you.
larger
I
theme
got
parks with.
So, but what are you guys going to
With
do with
tiki
these
rooms.
now? Can we buy these at the bar?
So what we were excited about, and what at Tiki Farm, what they were excited about, because they do so many awesome products, obviously for bigger people than us, was doing a train, and we're a bar on a train track, and they were very excited. So we went through various editions of this. But this was the final product. Funny enough, when we were in production, or not pre-production and design, it actually looked a little bit too Thomas the Tank Engine. That was the kind of feedback because
I love it.
they talked about doing that kind of the
Almost
South Pacific, that
cartoony
like
kind
the like the tiki, the South Pacific
Right.
look, and on the front of the train, which we quickly went away from because it looked like Thomas the Tank Engine. So. That did not work, needless to say. So what we did on the back, if you can see back where the engineer would sit, is kind of this relief with the volcano and the traditional tiki and the palm trees and everything. But we will be working, actually, that's been a project with our great friends at Dox and Plantation to do a couple different traditional tiki cocktails. We'd like to also do a bourbon tiki drink, so not just rum. But we will be announcing something very soon with this project.
So you'll be able to buy a drink in this, basically.
Yes.
And then take this home with
And
you?
the smokestack is actually designed so that you could do a little overproof rum and fire it. Don't tell the fire marshals, but that is...
That
you
is
know,
so good. I was thinking you put the straw in
That's
there.
what I was thinking, too.
Oh,
way
yeah.
cooler.
Originally, it was
That's
punched
way
through, but
cooler.
it's actually, for a little high proof so that you can light it.
I'm loving this already.
Let's do it right now. Let's
so
do
you
it
can
right
do
now.
the,
Come on,
the
man.
Benihana and then just ding,
Go,
ding, ding down the bar.
I am loving this already. Okay, you have poured us some Eagle Rare, which we have to taste and talk about, but we almost it's almost time for us to go to break here. So we'll do that when we come back. What we will also do when we come back is a little thing we like to call Drinking News. And we've been drinking enough that it should be fun. We'll be right back. It's Smoking and Toasting.
Wait, y'all been drinking? Oh, I forgot my spot.
You are always in my liquor cabinet. Welcome back at Smoking and Toasting, ladies and gentlemen. We are so glad to have you on the program here, and it's always fun when we have Docs on the show. I appreciate it, and then when you bring a friend, it's even better. So it's actually really cool. Now you poured this Eagle Rare, and we didn't get to it in the last segment, except I did get to it.
I've been getting it.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Except I did get to it, and wow! Tell me about this bottle, because obviously Eagle Rare is a great whiskey, but what are we drinking here?
So Eagle Rare is, as they described it, a 10-year Buffalo Trace product. I believe it is a 10-year Buffalo Trace, whereas Buffalo Trace is a blend of, I think it's around 5 to 7-year bourbons. In the particular, the Rick House that they feel is that profile. This is a 10-year. What's special about this, our barrel pick with our seal, is it's a single barrel Eagle Rare. So very much like the Weller 107, where it's a blend of barrels normally in their product. This is an actual single barrel of 3 that we picked. And this came out right when we reopened.
So what you are able to do is you're able to go to work with these different distilleries, like the Buffalo Trace guys who do Eagle Rare, and you're able to go in and pick these specific barrels that you say, okay, we want this whole barrel, and then you have the bottles from that barrel at your bar.
Yes. What they'll do is they usually do, I think, allocations by different states, and they came to us and they said, we can offer you, in the previous case Whirler 107, this case Eagle Rare, and we'll send you samples that we feel like our distiller feels like this is the product, but a little bit of a variation from it. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, absolutely, we'd love to do an Eagle Rare. We hadn't done that before. And so they gave us these 3 samples. We like this one the most of the 3. 2 are usually pretty good. One's a little bit light, seems like.
I still have to just go back and completely berate my high school guidance counselor, because I did not know that these kind of careers existed, and I wish I had, because I would have chosen, the things a little bit differently. Well, this is absolutely wonderful, but what I love about this is like this and what we had earlier as well, the Weller. These are like special things that are a little bit different that you can only get at your place.
Absolutely.
And it's really, really cool. The Rail Yard in Houston, by the way.
I love Weller.
Off of San Felipe.
And I love the fact that you have a bottle of Weller that still tastes like the same. It's like getting getting a sandwich made the same way, which has a little something in it. It's just a little different. It's like something you're used to. Because Eagle Rare is another one that I absolutely love, and I'm very familiar with the flavor. And this has a little more spice. You tend to like a little more spice in your
it's
barrel
a little more
picks.
robust, right?
Right.
It's a little more robust. It's got a little something in there, but it still tastes like the Eagle Rare. And I love trying something that I'm very familiar with, and then feeling those little differences is so nice.
It's wild to think that it's all in the same rick house, potentially next to each other, and it's the profile of it, but how different the spirit can taste from the same mash bill, aged the same amount of time, and the
Dealing
same
with
place.
organic materials.
That's what makes all of this so much fun in my mind. This is why it's so much fun to try these different things and to share these different things. And
it's also what makes the whiskey blender's job mind-boggling.
Oh, I don't know how they do it. I really don't.
Like, can you can you imagine that? Like your ingredients are varying from barrel to barrel to barrel. Yet when you put out this one product, you're trying to make it all taste like it always does.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling to me. It's like going into a kitchen and having different ingredients every day coming up with the same dish. Like, what?
Yeah. Wasn't that a show with William Shatner on it where they would throw different ingredients at people and you just made something? Like, was it Iron Chef?
Yeah, that was
What
Star Trek, right?
That's exactly what it was.
I'm a doctor, Jim, not a chef.
Beam me up some potatoes, Scotty. I know.
Well, I got to tell you, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it, and those guys do it well.
Do I have time to jump into this real quick? One thing.
On Eagle Rare, sure.
One thing I want to point out about this is that Eagle Rare once upon a time, actually not so long ago, used to be a single barrel bourbon.
Right.
They're blending it now, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just it's not. It used to be all single barrel, and when you have a single barrel bourbon, it's just not going to get the same bottle every single time, but it's always quality. Now, it's much different from making cognac, where the art is in the blend and that sort of thing. When these whiskey makers, in bourbon and Kentucky and that sort of thing, their way of mixing the medicine, so to speak, is to move these barrels around, height and that sort of thing.
Yes.
So they know they're going to taste these barrels, and they know where to put that barrel to get it to where it needs to taste like Eagle Rare. So when I taste this one, this reminds me of that roll the dice, always happy Eagle Rare that I used to get so long ago.
Love it. I absolutely
Well,
love
and
it.
I would be remiss if I didn't give my wife's tasting notes on this, which is caramel, sunshine, and happiness.
That is perfect.
Nice.
It's absolutely
What
perfect.
Docs was saying.
And we've had just enough of this that I think it's time.
Did you like the musical pad on
I
that?
did. It was wonderful. We've had just enough of this that I think it's time for drinking news.
Drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news, drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news. A Florida man with one arm said he had a gator for a pet. When asked about his absent arm, he said,
I take my gator to the vet.
drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news.
I feel like I brought my kid on the show. Now say this.
He's like
Line. I had it, and I talked about Eagle Rare, and I lost it.
What's great is he was looking at the drinking news story, trying to get it off of there, but of course it's not on there.
Wait, can we roll that last part again? We gotta just roll in from the very last line and let him nail us.
Go for it. A Florida man.
Florida man from one arm. Now I'm messing up. Florida man with one arm said he had a gator for a pet. When asked about his absent, I've got one good one in me, okay? When asked about his absent arm, he said,
I had to take my gator to the vet.
There we go. That's what we were looking
Nailed
for.
it.
There you go.
news. Now it's time for drinking news.
We'll be sure to edit that.
Yeah. Not. Well, Drinking News is our segment of the program where we bring you stories that are sometimes, but not always, about drinking, but that are always best enjoyed if you've been drinking. And mine is empty for some reason. I don't know what happened there. Before we get into
So
our...
the problem is this Eagle Rare has evaporative qualities.
Apparently it does.
Disappears quick.
Before we get into our drinking news story for today, we must bring you up to date on the latest from the Sunshine State of Florida. And I swear to you, on this bottle of Barbados 2000 that Doc's brought with him today, that what I'm about to tell you is absolutely true. We've chronicled the exploits of Florida Man many times here on Drinking News, and just when you think you've heard it all, along will come another Florida man or Florida woman to top the last one. But now, you can actually participate in Florida Man activities.
Florida man.
On February 24th, 2024. That's 2/24/24, if you're paying attention. At the Francis Field in St. Augustine, Florida, you may actually be able to participate and compete to win a Gatorhead trophy. Because of course you can.
Of course, because Florida.
In an actual event called the Florida Man Games.
Florida man.
Games.
You'll be able to play in a number of contests, including, and again, I want stress, I'm not making this up. You'll be able to play in a number of contests, including the weaponized pool noodle mud duel, the evading arrest obstacle course, where you'll be pursued by actual members of law enforcement, the Beer Belly Florida sumo competition, the Category 5 Hurricane Cash Grab, which is exactly what it sounds like. Yes,
amazing.
You'll try to grab dollar bills in
They
simulated
just take a trailer
Category
full of
5 Hurricane
cash
winds.
and spin it around in the air.
Yep. And something that's being called, again, not making this up, a catalytic converter, 2 bikes, and a handful of copper pipes race against time.
That's amazing.
Can we sponsor this?
You have to steal those, don't you? That's what you have to do is steal those for that.
You need to be carrying a Sawzall at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. You do have to buy tickets to compete, and if you were so inclined, you can actually get them at thefloridamangames.com.
It's called thefloridamangames.com.
Yeah, so
Hey,
I've
Ian,
done
there's
my
a
part.
thing. They need a theme song for that.
FloridaManGames.com. I forgot what key I was in. I'm playing guitar instead of ukulele.
I will say we have a lot of friends in the Orlando area, and this has been quite the talk.
So you've heard of this?
Yes, I have.
You already know about this?
I'm on the ground floor with people in Central Florida that are very excited about this.
Oh my God, they got the dopest logo, man. I mean, that's.
Oh yeah. It looks
that's
like an
so badass.
Iron Man competition.
It looks like a hockey jersey logo.
Well, in our main story today, police in Niceville, Florida, which sounds just charming, doesn't it?
Niceville, Florida.
Picket fences.
Good old panhandle.
Police there responded to a call to assist firefighters at a home in Okaloosa County and arrived to the site of white smoke pouring from a house and the distinct smell of something on fire. Police knocked on the door, which was answered by a Florida man.
Florida man.
I just wanted to give you time. A Florida man later identified as James Gregory Cunningham, who told officers, "I'm sorry," and then promptly closed the door. Cops say the Florida man was naked, and he was standing, quote, in a smoke-filled house with items on fire inside it, unquote, including towels. The police report states that Cunningham showed no sign of understanding of the danger that he was in.
No sign of understanding.
Or clothes.
But that officers were finally able to get him to come back to the door. At that point, they detained him and from somewhere brought him some pants. It turns out that the man had been smoking weed and had also consumed 2 liters of vodka, which apparently gave him a very serious case of the munchies. So what did Florida man do? He did what anyone who was stoned and drunk on 2 liters of vodka would do. He decided to make himself some cookies.
Baking some cookies.
Me like cookie. Problem was, he apparently got the bright idea that the best way to make these cookies was on a George Foreman grill.
Of course.
The George Foreman grill is brilliant, man. You cook stuff on there, it makes its own dipping sauce.
Yeah. Well, then, in his intoxicated stupor, he forgot all about his cookies and left them on the George Foreman grill for an extended period of time.
Burnt my yummy cookies.
It's not wrong to speculate as to whether the former boxing champion's grills are actually safe to use. We're reminded here of the episode of The Office where Michael, who liked to cook himself bacon in bed in the mornings on his George Foreman grill, woke up and accidentally stepped in it, barbecuing his foot in the process.
Everybody loves to wake up
It's
and smell of
delicious.
bacon.
It's good for me.
In the case of Florida man, this guy finally noticed the smoke and the fact that his Foreman grill had caught fire, and so he did the logical thing and tried to put it out with towels, which immediately burst into flames as well, potentially singeing the hair on his naked body and setting off the smoke alarms as the fire continued to rage.
Grease and towel fire.
He tried to put it out with towels because Of course he did.
Because Florida man, right? No, I'm not going to sing it anymore.
Florida. Now, I'll admit, I am a bit sympathetic to Florida man. I mean, who among us hasn't gotten ravenously hungry after a night of drinking and partying and needed something in their stomachs besides just the alcohol, right? So I'm convinced, by the way, that if everyone in the world just suddenly stopped drinking, Arby's, White Castle, Taco Cabana, and Jack in the Box would all go out of business, like tomorrow. So to wrap up our story, I will confess that, as is often the case, this Florida man's tragic tale has caused me to once again wax poetic. Yep, that's right. I've written a short sonnet about his experience that has helped me deal with my feelings about it. And if it's all right, I'd like to share that prose with you now. It goes a little something like this. A stoned, naked Florida slacker craved some cookies, or maybe a cracker. He forgot them, drunk still, on his George Foreman grill, and damn near burned off his tallywhacker. Reporting live from Niceville, where I'm wondering what happened to those burnt cookies, because I'm freaking starving. My name is Cruz, and that is your...
Well done, sir. Drinking news, drinking news. That's our time for drinking news.
Me wonder what happened to Cookie, too.
You know, I almost wore a Cookie Monster shirt today.
Oh, my God.
I should have.
That would have been beautiful. All right, we've only got like a minute left in this segment, but I just wanted to go ahead and get started tasting this, and then we'll talk about it in our final goodbye segment. This is the Barleywine, which Ian will tell us more about in the next segment. But real quick, Ian, your initial thoughts.
I'm going to need to see that bottle again. So right off the bat, this is a very English-style barley wine,
And that's what you like.
and it is like outrageously good.
And we'll be right back to talk about it more. It's Smoking and Toasting.
The dump bucket's getting pretty full here.
Yours is.
In the beginning.
Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show's all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. I love the moment in the show when Terry is handing his glass
isn't it
back
the best?
just to make sure that he doesn't get
I don't
left
wanna
out
miss
of the
out.
next pour. Yeah, that's right. Terry, our producing engineer here. So Dox is pouring our next spirit from... well, I'll let you tell us exactly what this is about.
No, I want you to say the
Maison
brand name. I want you to say,
It's
don't help
Ferrand.
him.
No, I know
I
it's
got
Ferrand.
spirit. Yes, I
Maison
do.
Ferrand. I know it's
I
Maison
got
Ferrand,
spirit.
but
How about Dox?
I don't know exactly what it is. So I'll let you tell us about that in a minute. But Ian, you got to tell us.
Let's hear it.
You got to tell us more
We
about
got a
this.
whole thing going on.
Have we
over
dropped
here,
Pierre? Is it just Maison, or is
We've
Pierre
dropped-
still there?
I don't want to lose
dropped
this
it.
barley wine though.
This barley wine is outstanding.
All right, yeah, because this was
So
not-
this is Alesong Brewing and Blending. Unplugged is a term that's been relevant for only a fraction of human history, prior to which was only the only state any of us knew as we worked with our friends. Alesong Brewing and Blending, we reflected on our common ground external to craft beer, our desire to disconnect from the world in order to make more time. This is good a lot. This is good a lot.
So-
Aging a beer in barrels is sort of like sending a beer on a camping trip. Reintroducing it to its original habitat in order to restore the qualities that the environment bestows. So with this beer, we are reflecting on the beauty and more primitive endeavors and the quality that disconnects our lives. Barley wine aged 6 months in cognac finished barrels.
so it's interesting. This is Dox. Have we had a barley wine on when you've been on the show before?
Not to my recollection.
Yeah.
No, sir.
So what's your take on this?
You know, I'm getting a real Chimay white label thing off this. You know what I mean?
Very much so. Yeah.
Do you have any idea what I think about barley wines?
Yeah, I have a clue.
I would drink this floating down the river.
Yeah.
I love this. This is so good.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing. It's about a $50 bottle.
I'm holding on to it because I don't want anyone else to touch it.
Would you drink it with a fox? Would you drink it next to Dox?
Sweet nectar deepens the pain.
But you drink it floating down the river. I feel like a tide might change, and then the bottles just in the.
No, trust me, Ian would hold on to that bottle.
I would drink it out
He
of a
would-
quiver.
he
Sorry,
would-
I had to come up with a rhyme.
Yeah. It's all right. It's all right. It happens. And by the way,
This is outrageously good. This is so good.
I just want to recognize your Simpsons reference, because your Simpsons reference, which I think you got slightly wrong, but it was when Kent Brockman, the newsman, like he was giving some horrible disaster story, and then he reaches under the news counter and pulls out a bottle and drinks from it and goes, sweet liquor eases the pain.
Oh, well, I used the wrong word, but there you have it.
But sweet barley wine eases the pain. We'll take it.
Barley wine is sweet and sticky and ridiculous. I love it.
Docs, you have poured us one more that I want to make sure we get time to get to from Maison Ferrand.
Yes.
Tell me what you have poured us here.
This is the Renegade Barrel number 3. The 3. No, actually, I believe.
What is a Renegade Barrel?
Well, okay.
The jig is up.
My brain went. It was buffering. Now it's back online. So what is the Renegade Barrel? So this is our tongue-in-cheek name for our experimental cognacs. The story as it goes is that Alexandre Gabriel, being the troublemaker that he is, was announcing his plans to do some of these special aged cognacs that is frowned upon. We can't even call this one cognac. It's called an eau de vie de vin made with Ferrand cognac. But when he made plans to announce that the BNIC that he was going to do this, the head of one particularly well-known cognac company says, "You cannot do this. If you do this, you will be a renegade." Hell yeah, we are.
I love that. I love that.
So Renegade Barrel, and what's really funny is was like the first time he told me about the first one we did was Renegade Barrel number 1, which was a chestnut cask. No, check that. Was a sauteing cask. The second one we could call that one cognac. The second one was a chestnut cask. We couldn't call that one cognac. And when Alexander was first telling me about it, he says, if I were to call this cognac, they could put me in jail for 5 months. I said, do it. No one will ever forget this, man. I mean,
right. It would be
we'll call it him to go to jail.
We'll call it 5 months in that long, man. Come on.
I said we'll call it the Ferrand sacrifice. No one will. It'll go down in history as like the greatest. This man went to jail for his art. He suffered for his art.
This is incredible. Can we buy this?
Absolutely, you can. You have my permission. This is the Renegade Barrel number 3, which the rum. The cognac has been double aged in our Jamaican rum barrel.
It's got just such a wonderful mouthfeel to it. It has.
This is so complex.
Well, if you look on the label there, you'll see that Monsieur Ferrand has come into life in real color there. That's what this cognac does. Yeah. What the rum barrel does for this cognac, it really brings out those tropical colors and flavors.
Absolutely so good.
So it's not Monsieur Eiffel.
It's not Monsieur Eiffel. No, it's did I ever tell you a story about the Eiffel Tower guy?
Yeah, but I don't think we have time.
God dang it.
One of the great things about having docs on the show, and this always happens, is we always have more docs than we can fit into one show.
Leave them wanting more, they always say.
But thank you so much for being on, and thank you, Rail
Thank
Yard.
you so much.
If you're in Houston, you got to go. It's a great bar.
San Felipe right at the railroad tracks.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's wonderful. Docs, thank you for being on again. Seriously.
Mon plaisir.
We appreciate it. This all has been wonderful, and we'll see you guys next week, which I believe, are we doing the non-alcoholic beer taste test? Is that next week?
I have to look at the schedule.
Am I off by a week? I have to look and see, but it is coming up, and we're very excited about it. Have a great week, my friends, and cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
I've been told I can't